part-time as a crossing guard, but she had to give it up because it would mean she was out of the house more than 20 minutes a day. Now, her husband, Alan, says she has no choice. She has to follow those rules. He says, I am king of the castle. Candy, it sounds like you're a hostage in your own home, yet you were out to come and visit us. Are things as bad as they sound? Please be specific.
Oh, Sally, they're worse.
They're worse than I said?
They're worse. They get worse. I can't leave. You know, if I try to leave and he gets very, very mad, very angry, he rips the spark plugs out of the car.
You can't go because the spark plugs are out of the car.
Right, yes.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to go to the movies. I'm not allowed to go shopping, not allowed to have friends. He listens to my phone conversations, wants to know who I'm talking to, but yet if he wants to use the phone, he tells me to get off. We have a 12 o'clock curfew in our home. Everybody has to go to bed by 12 o'clock. If he wants me to go to bed by 9, I have to go to bed by 9.
If you do not go to bed by 9, and let's say you're watching television, what does he do?
He turns the TV off.
Oh.
Or he'll stand in front of the TV and yell and talk so we can't watch the TV until we finally turn it off and just say, fine, we'll all go to bed.
Okay.
I mean, I live 5 minutes away from her, and she could never come and visit me.
This is Candy's daughter, and her name is Lisa. And Lisa is a stepdaughter, but you've been married to him 17 years, so Lisa's been living with him 17 years. Now she has gone and gotten married. More about that in a moment. What else does he do?
He just he counted my douche bottles one time. He always accuses me of having an affair. I can't even go to the corner store. He thinks I'm having an affair with the guy that owns but it's okay for him to go up there and ask people out on dates and stuff. Except for, you know, that's
what do you mean he asked people out on dates?
Oh, yeah, he asked this one girl out on a date one time. But, you know, he thinks he's playing around, but he's not. He's serious.
You cannot work. He didn't allow you to finish school.
Not at all.
Do you have any money? Do you have
none?
Money?
Everything is his. I have nothing. If I leave, he tells me, give me the checkbook, give me the car keys, give me my credit cards, and go.
So you have to go somewhere on foot broke?
Yeah.
Candy, if you're so unhappy, why would you stay in that house?
I have no place else to go. You know, he saw to that. Everything is his. I have nothing.
You have no friend you could go and stay with or anything? No one. Alan, the way Candy is talking, you sound like a prison warden more than a husband. Now, it's your turn. Is what she's saying true?
Basically, most of it is that way.
Imagine that. Now, she's just 19. And already she says she does not leave her house for weeks at a time. Why? She's terrified that her husband, Tony, may find out that she's leaving the house. Tony says Leona has no reason to go out and says now that Leona is a wife and a mother, her job is to stay in the house. Leona, you and Tony have been married only 2 years now. Was he like this before you got married?
Yes, he was like this, but I didn't realize it.
How come you didn't know that?
I didn't seem to look at it at the time. There was things that were foreshadowing it, but I just didn't realize it.
You didn't see them?
I would see that he would come up to the college to where I was going to school at, and he would say, well, if you fix your hair today, then I know you're going to go out and see somebody else before I get up there. So if I get there and your hair's fixed, then I'll know. Or if you wear those pants.
So you can't have your hair fixed because he would think if you fixed your hair you were out with someone?
That I'd seen someone else that day before he'd come to see me.
Or you wouldn't have fixed your hair for him?
Right. That I hadn't, it wouldn't be for him, it would have been for somebody else. Or if I'd wore some pants he didn't like, well, I don't like those pants. But it would just stop at that. However, after we got married, it got worse. If he didn't like the pants, well, I'll destroy those pants. And it would cause us to fight. I mean, it's a continuous fight. And I don't want my daughter to grow up in an environment where we're going to be fighting constantly. Something's got to be done.
I understand that. You have to ask Tony's permission to go anywhere and have proof of where you've been. Give me an example.
If I go to my mother's house, he's got to know that I've been there and who's been there, so that if he wants to know who I've talked to and what I've talked about, he can find out.
He checks the phone bills.
Oh, yeah.
For what? Any unknown number?
For any suspicious numbers that I might have called, anybody that I might have talked to.
And you're not allowed to buy anything for yourself?
No.
How will you dress? How will you, if you can't buy things for yourself?
After an argument. After an argument, I would say, I've got to have it. You know, it's something I need. I'm pregnant again, and I'm getting bigger again. And so it's an argument over what I need.
You have a 7-month-old daughter, and you are pregnant again.
Yes.
Now, if you're not happy in the marriage, why are you having another child?
It was an unexpected pregnancy. I had no idea that I was even pregnant again.
Really?
Yes.
Tony, do you look at your wife as your equal?
I look at her as my partner, but I feel that wife's place is at home with the kids. I don't think that she should go out running around.
What do you mean by running around?
Well, like if you go to a doctor's office, I don't think go to the doctor's office and come back home.
There's no stopping for a Coke or anything, right?
Not unless I call him first and let him know.
You used to hate it because she went to college, so you made her stop going to college. What was happening at college that disturbed you?
Until he went to work, and I packed the car and left.
Where did you go?
First to my mother's, and then to the state of Maryland.
And now tell us what happened when you went to your mother's.
He called and started threatening, say he was going to call the police because I stole his car.
Right? Is it his car or both your cars?
Well, since we were married, it was both our cars.
Yes, right.
You know, but I mean, it upset me because he did not want his little girl back. He wanted his car back.
Oh, he didn't say, I want the child back.
For days, I heard about him wanting his car back. And then finally, that's when he started saying, I want you guys back because I miss you.
I asked about her.
Yeah, you asked about her. You said, how is she? You didn't say, I want you guys back.
It's kind of hard for me to do anything when she's 300 miles away and I don't have nothing to drive.
Do you feel good, Kathy, about what you've done? Do you feel all right about it?
Oh, I feel fine. I mean, a relief.
A sense of relief.
Of getting out.
Mom, how bad was it for her?
It's pretty bad. Even after she's left, it's still not quit. I mean, they're still continuing. You can't have a civil conversation. They're an hour apart living conditions. If he comes to the house, I have a 6-year-old also, you can't talk on the phone, you can't have guests, they blow up in fights. I'm going to do this, I'm going to die, I'm going to take Sandy, I'm going to shut off utilities, she can't have the car, I want everything I had before, I will get her any way I can.
Did you say I'll get her any way I can?
Well, she said the same thing to me. She threatens to take everything away from me.
But I'll get her any way I can is criminal. Are you aware of that? Did you say it?
Yeah.
Okay. You knew every move, every phone call, forbid her to have friends, forbid her to go to college, controlled every bit of the money. Why?
Because I ask her to do stuff and she don't have responsibility for money. I'll give her money to pay bills or something with, and it's like she spends it on something else, and I ask her, well, did you pay that bill today? And
You have never given me money to pay bill because
yes, I have.
Just before the checkbook was in your name, okay? Now it's in our name, okay? Even now that the checkbook is in our name, he says whenever I ask for it to even pay bills, what do you need the checkbook for?
No,
what bills are you
the
paying?
money responsibility goes both ways. I've actually seen Jimmy take the truck payment and buy a cap for the truck because he didn't have the whole payment and then expect her to supply the money for the truck payment.
Well, how about the car I bought
She
her?
wasn't living with you then, Jimmy. She was
Relationship right now where he makes the decisions and he controls the money, and it works just fine for us.
Well, if we look at it differently. Historically, this is, a slant that's abusive, and I realize it's bad. But there's a historical context here that we look at, a religious one. And we follow that, and it works for us. We're not saying it's for everyone.
Your religion tells you the man ought to have all the money.
Pretty much.
May I ask? No. May I ask what religion it is?
It's a religious sect of the Christianity faith.
But what is the name of the religion?
It's just a Christian faith.
But Catholicism is a Christian faith, so.
It's a non-denominational Christian faith.
Are there a lot of people who belong to this?
Well, It's all across the United States, but the point is that it works for us. We're doing very well. It's a set of value systems that we treasure and that we know our boundaries. She knows, and when I say this, it's not rude or crude, but she knows her responsibilities. I know mine. We fulfill them by doing our duties, and we're very happy with it. And if that includes me being responsible for money, writing checks, and so on.
We need some cold voices of wisdom, and as you know, Dr. Friedland has been with us before. First question, I guess, is what kind of man ends up in these relationships?
Well, Sally, one of your audience members really hit it right on the nose. When you can tell how a man feels about himself by the power that his woman has. And look at the most powerful man in our country is Bill Clinton. And what is it? I mean, his wife is a Yale-educated lawyer and is, you know, moving this country forward in so many ways of her own. So when a man is feeling good and powerful, he's not threatened by his wife having a job, having money, having political power. You know, so these are guys who, you know, I feel like we're setting the women's movement back 150 years right here. We're just giving lip service to all of the gains that underprivileged groups, be they women, blacks, people who are physically challenged.
What about the women, though? We were asking, are they codependents? Are they somehow responsible for their plight?
It's a partnership, Sally. If